But I think the most amazing thing was that all four of us, when asked what the hardest scene to watch in this movie, this very violent movie, none of
Yeah,
us
it's not
chose a scene of violence. Everyone
No.
chose a dialogue scene,
Yeah.
and that
right
is
because the
really
violence
cool.
stuff, right? Yeah, that's another why I feel like this movie is great. Is that the violence is not what shocks you; it's the undertones, it's everything that's underneath that really creeps into your conscious and really kind of rattles you up.
But even so, I mean, there were some scenes that are just visually tough, man. Like
Yeah.
when the camera first goes around to Alex Jones' face that is just so swollen and
Yeah.
mashed
Yeah.
up and like
Yeah.
disgustingly beaten. I mean, that's definitely like there's a gut reaction there that I had to that scene. And or like, when the guy kills himself in the police interrogation room, or like when he finds the priest in the hole or whatever, or like when he turns the water on and off, even though you don't see that, that's a very tough scene to watch. Like, there's a lot of scenes that, even though a lot of violence isn't necessarily shown, it's graphic visually and hard to stomach in some way. So I just think it's so cool and interesting that everyone still chose dialogue moments as the
Yeah.
hardest stuff to watch in the
Yeah.
movie.
Well, to piggyback off that, I'm curious to how you guys feel about this, but um, Hugh Jackman obviously tortures Paul Dano. Paul Dano is ultimately not responsible for this, but at a certain point, do you think maybe we glazed over those moments of violence because even though it's unjustified, given the information that Hugh Jackman has where he thinks it's Paul Dano, do you think that, obviously it's like, I don't know about Joe, but I know none of us have children, but it seems kind of like, while it's like animalistic violence, it seems almost like if you were in that same position, would you do those things? And maybe that's why we like brush off like the violence wasn't the hardest part to watch because in that situation, is it possible that we would act the same?